Well, hello, friends. Real quick before we kick off the episode, I have to let you know about something exciting. I am seriously considering having an upgraded version of this podcast where you get bonus episodes and exclusive content. But here's the deal, I'm trying to decide what that content and those episodes should be. I do have some ideas, and I was wondering if you could vote really quick and tell me what you think about what would entice you, what would be interesting to you to get as bonus episodes on this podcast. For example, deeper dives into topics. Maybe I'm answering questions that many of you ask about starting or growing a business. Maybe even overhearing coaching calls, something like this. It would be a paid, upgraded version of this podcast, not very expensive at all, probably just a handful of dollars a month, but it be extra content for you to help you along your journey. My whole goal is to help you build your business dream. And I would love to offer you even more because some of you are asking for it. So if you could just look down in the show notes right now, there's two ways you can give me your answers. Number one, I have a Google form with 5 quick questions. It can be anonymous. You just answer them and vote on what would be interesting to you. Or number two, I have a voice memo system. You can just click it and you could just leave a voice memo with your phone right now and just record it and tell me what kind of topics, what things would be interesting to you behind the scenes, market news, what would be things that would be extra that would be really valuable to you. So thank you all so much. Okay, on to the episode.
Well, hello, this is Kimberly Brock, and for over 20 years, I've been running my own businesses that have not only been profitable, but personally fulfilling to me. So now I'm on a mission to help other new business owners just like you make money doing what you love too. Now we're going to have some fun, so let's get started.
Well, hello, this is Kimberly. It's episode 143, and I am so glad that you're here today because I'm talking about you arguing for your limitations when it comes to life and business. Now, you know this is a business podcast, but I love to relate all of this to your personal life as well. And I hope today you really take this to heart because so many of you I see are doing this, and I want you to stop. I want you to stop in the nicest way that I can say it. Stop arguing for your limitations. Okay. If you are new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you found this podcast. Each week I provide you with strategies and tips for starting and building a business, doing what you love. So if you're new, I'm so happy you're here. Make sure you get plugged in right now. Did you know I have a private Facebook group? It's called Women Starting Businesses, Doing What We Love. So if you've got a product or service business, you're a coach, or making something, you're going to sell it on Etsy, you've got a service that you offer, whatever it is, make sure you get in the group because we have such a kind, inspiring, and motivating group of women that would love to support you on your journey. So all you have to do is click the link below. There's 3 quick questions you'll have to ask, and then you can get in the group. I also have some other freebies for you. If you're new, if you've been wondering how to start your business, I've got a 16-step checklist. So you can snag that right now. And if you are here and you're like, I want to start a business, but I don't even know if I have the right idea or what idea, I actually have a guide for you too. It's called an Ikigai guide. It'll help you figure out your best business idea. So scroll down right now and you can grab those. I'm so glad you're here. And make sure you subscribe too. I don't know if you're in Apple Podcasts or Spotify. People find me on Audible, Pandora. I almost said Panera, like Panera Bread. Pandora is what I was trying to say. You can, if you're listening from Pandora or any of those, then make sure you hit follow, subscribe, whatever it is, so you don't miss out on any future episodes to help you along your business journey. And if you've been listening, well, thank you so much to all my loyal listeners. I'm giving a shout out today. Oh, yes, I am. This one is written by Sarah St. Clair. Oh, goodness. Sarah, I know who you are. You're in the group. She's in the private Facebook group. And my heart just melted when I read this review. Thank you so much, Sarah. And I'm going to read it to you all really quick because y'all know I love to give these shout outs. It says, just what I needed. That's the title. It says, I'm so thankful that I clicked on this podcast and starting listening. Kimberly is a wealth of knowledge and information, but more importantly, knows how to break it down for those of us who are just getting our feet wet in the business world. I was really overwhelmed with where to start and the details of a business plan, but Kimberly's 16-step checklist and podcast have been answering my questions and helped immensely. This podcast gave me the confidence I need to stop questioning if I was good enough to do this and just move forward. I got my LLC and I'm launching my business. Thank you, Kimberly. Oh, this makes me so happy. I'm clapping. Can you hear me? I'm so excited for you, Sarah. And I love how active you are in the group. And you're just an inspiration to so many because I think a lot of people are scared. I mean, haven't you all out there who's listening right now been scared starting your business? You've been scared of something, some way, whether you're scared that people won't buy your stuff, you're scared of losing money, you're scared that you don't have what it takes, you don't know what you're doing, you're scared of losing money, all that stuff. So anyways, I get it. And thank you for sharing, Sarah, so much. This was so sweet. And if you've been listening well and you find value like Sarah did in this podcast, would you be so kind to take 30 seconds to write a written review? It warms my heart, totally warms my heart, makes me feel so happy that I'm doing this. But it also tells Apple Podcasts and all the players out there that you're listening that it's a valuable podcast, and we'll share it with other people that are starting businesses too. And I know it can help them. So anything you can do to help spread the word or tell people about the podcast is just so helpful. So thank you all so much. Okay, on to the episode. Well, hello everyone. How are you? How is everything going with your business? Do tell. I need to know. I need the updates. I need to know how you're doing. I need to know what's selling and not selling. I need to know what you're struggling with. I want to know what you've gotten past, what your wins are. And did you know in the Facebook group, you can tell me all that because I have posts each week where you keep me updated. I love it. I love the imperfect action on Mondays. That's what we do. And y'all post in there and your wins on Wednesdays and your thankful thoughts on Thursdays. Today's a Thursday that I'm recording this. And I love to read those thankful thoughts. You all are just amazing. You're amazing humans. And I love when you show gratefulness because I think when we do that, it literally changes the way our brain is working and makes us happier and more productive and excited about our future. So thank you all so much. I'm so happy you're here. This episode is about you arguing for, meaning you're defending your limitations. And have y'all ever heard this phrase before? I've been seeing it come up a lot more lately about arguing for our limitations, meaning we defend the limitations that we perceive that we have, and we actually slow ourselves down by doing it. It's putting the brakes on what our dreams are by wallowing in our limitations. Y'all like that word wallowing? Wallowing in our limitations, right? So I know a lot of you that are thinking about starting a business or you're starting one now are saying things like this. And I wrote down a list just a minute ago, and I'm going to read it here off my little spiral. I have a little spiral notebook that I keep my notes in for the podcast episodes. And here are the ones that I have written down. It is not the right time for me to start my business. I don't have the money. I don't have the best idea. I have no business experience. I'm scared that people won't buy my stuff. I'm scared I'm going to lose money. So there's a lot of fear-based in here. You can hear that. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never run a business before. I don't know how to market a business. I don't know how to run a business. I am too old. I am too young. I am too busy. Y'all, the list goes on. Oh, here's more. My spouse doesn't support me. And this one pains me. Those of you that have family members or spouses that don't support you, I'm so sorry. I'm apologizing to you for that person because it's so hard, I think. It's like, how do you do this? Like, how do you all do this? I don't know. I've never experienced it myself. I know others have tried to come up with a business plan and all this stuff and then really present it to those spouses so that they are more open to the idea, right? I just feel for you if that is your situation. And if it is, always post stuff like that in the group because I know others would love to help you and give you ideas on what they have done because I know that this is a common thing and it's probably not talked about as much as it is actually real. Does that make sense? Like sometimes we don't want to bring up things that are embarrassing or that are, you don't want to look bad. And so you don't talk about them and you don't get thoughts from others. And I get that. But often those are the things that we need that most help with. Okay. So make sure you do share. And if you see other posting about something that you relate to or that you could give them advice for, please make sure you do that. Okay, so back to the list. Spouses not supporting, family not supporting. Money is a big one. A lot of y'all are worried about the money, about losing the money, about the money that it takes. You don't have enough money. You don't have enough time. You're not smart enough, blah, 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 blah. The list goes on and on. And this is what I want to say to you today. All of those limitations that I listed are ones that people that I've worked with have actually said, or in a Facebook group or in a poll. I have aggregated all this data here, okay? And I want you to know that if you find yourself saying this a lot and it's stalling you getting your business started or getting it growing by not investing in yourself with a program or a coach or whatever you need to get help, then you own that limitation. You now own that. And that is yours. And you get to live in that and waller in that limitation. But what if you thought differently about those limitations and realized that it's your brain just protecting you, because your brain is always trying to protect you and it's always going to take the other side? I mean, everything I do, I'm always like thinking about, is this the right decision? Oh no, this could go wrong. Or, whatever. We always have these thoughts that come in our mind. It's just our brain doing that. Okay. Even traveling, I think, oh my gosh, what if we got in a wreck? What if we got hurt? What if we got in a plane crash? What if something happened? My son, for example, he's 19. Y'all hear me talk about him all the time, Grayson, because he's just so into everything and doing all this crazy stuff that I always have to talk about it because I'm kind of boring. I'm kind of boring. So I got to talk about my son, right? Anyways, so my son, Grayson, met a friend at the University of Texas who is from Ecuador. And my son was like, Mom, he invited me and, 3 other guys from school to come and visit him for like 2 weeks in Ecuador and tour around and go to the Galapagos Islands. And we're looking at him like, say what? And he's like, I have my money for my power washing business. I really want to go. And he's 19, almost 20. And we're like, okay. But then the whole time while he was gone this summer, I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to get in a car wreck. What if something happens? Where is he? Who's this family he's staying with? I have no idea. I don't know these people. I don't know what's happening. He's taking pictures with like huge turtles out. They were on canoes, then they were horseback riding. And I'm like terrified. And I was thinking about him doing all this stuff. Like as parents, we get scared, right? But when you're young, you're not as scared because you don't understand the consequences. But I'm thinking because he doesn't put a limit on himself, he does these things. He does everything. My husband and I were talking that he's done more in his life than we've done like in our entire lives because he doesn't limit himself. He sees way beyond that. He sees the possibility versus the limitation. So kudos to you, Grayson, because that's why he lives such an exciting life and he goes for everything, right? And so we have to think about this in our life and business, that the limitations that we keep speaking of in our head that we're allowing to fester and grow and define us are the things that are stopping us from living our best life. Now, here I am sounding like a life coach when I'm not a life coach, but I sort of am. When it comes to business, I'm a business life coach, right? I'm helping you work through all this mental side of getting this business going because I see that a lot of that is the biggest factor in stalling new business owners' success. It's this whole subject of the limitations that all of you put in your head. You limit yourself. You create your own island and you protect yourself from everything when really there's a world out there for you to explore. Okay. So think about it in your life right now. Maybe you're starting your business. Maybe you're growing your business. Maybe you've been struggling and you're trying to grow it. Whatever situation you're in. Think about right now, what are those limitations that keep popping up in your head? Have you been saying, I just don't have the money or just don't have the time or don't have the energy. I'm too busy. And I want you to discern for a second whether those limitations are actually facts, they're like real, or are they just stories that you're making up in your head. Okay. Now, if I was trying to make a professional basketball team, it's going to be really challenging for me to do that because I'm 5'3" And most of the women in the professional basketball world are probably 6'5" and up, right? I don't know how tall they are. Maybe they're 6'2". Maybe that's short. I have no idea. It would be challenging. That's a fact. I think that it would be harder for me. I think we could all argue that this is pretty much going to be an uphill battle. This is going to be hard. To not say you can't do it, because there's other people that have done it. I've seen men in the basketball world and people that have beat all sorts of odds in sports, right? They put their mind to it. They were committed to it and they went for it. And they had some natural ability. So it all worked out for them, right? Now that's kind of a fact, let's say. But a lot of you with your business, you have made your circumstance, your limitation, actually the thing that is preventing you from moving forward in your business. When what you don't realize is it's not a fact. It's just a circumstance that you have that you now have to get creative and work around, because you actually can make it work. Like, I can't do anything about that I'm 5'3". I can't really, I can work extra hard. I can do all that. This is an example, but just think about that. What a stretch that is. But for you and your business, all these excuses that I just read off: money, time, energy, I'm busy, I have another job, I'm, scared, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know if I have what it takes, I'm scared people won't buy, they'll think I'm stupid. That's other limitations. Am I stupid for doing this? Like all that's stalling you, but it's not a fact. It's not a fact. Just for a minute, give me this and realize that's not a fact, that I can't build a successful business because of these things. You actually can. You can start a business with hardly anything. If you're a coach or a consultant, you don't have to have anything. You don't have to have a website. You could have nothing. You could start messaging out on Instagram and Facebook and calling your friends or emailing them and telling them you're starting a business based on your experience. This is why you're doing it. This is how you can bring value to other people's lives. If you're a fitness coach, you could have classes out of your garage. You could lead people on, I see them in the park all the time. They do workouts here in the park locally, and the person takes them on a run. They're doing jumping jacks and lunges. Like, nobody tell me that because you don't have enough money that you can't start a business. Now, you may not be able to start a brick and mortar right now if you have to get a $500,000 loan to open a store and get all the inventory. I get that, but you could start your business. You could start it online out of your house. You could spend, $500, $1,000 on inventory, and you could start selling it. Money is not an excuse. It's really not. It's really not. So everyone get over it. There are some things that you might have to pay for. If you need to get an LLC, you need to do that. If you need to get your DBA, it's like $35. Like, it doesn't have to cost that much to get started. I'm not saying that's the ideal way that you want to run your business. I'm not saying that you don't want to have upgrades and have a website and have cool business cards and a logo and all that stuff. I get it. I'm just saying, don't use that as an excuse, because it's not a fact. You can start a business with no money. Okay? You can start a business with no money. So stop saying that. Some of you say, I don't have time. Now, this one's hard. This one can be partly factual in that most of your time may be taken up for other things in life. And I get it. But if you want to start this business and you are in agreement with those that live with you, whether it's a spouse, friend, family, whatever, that you are going to be doing this, you can make the time. But your whole family is going to have to be on agreement. You're going to have to work it out. You can spend a few hours during the week and then spend time on the weekends to do this. If this is really your dream, if it doesn't mean that much to you, then of course you don't have the time. I don't have time to sit and watch every Netflix show that I want, because it's not that important to me. Now, there's a few shows that I like to watch. I like documentaries, true crime, but that's not the point. My point is, it's something, I might want to do, or I might want to go shopping a lot more, but it doesn't mean that much to me. So no, I don't have time. But the fact is, you really do have time. You don't have to start a business full time. It can be so part-time, it's not even funny. You can take one client on a weekend. You can start selling your stuff on the weekends. You can just do holiday events and shows and put your stuff at a booth. And you could do that during the holiday seasons. Like, let's not be dramatic that getting the business just kick-started in the very beginning has to be full-time. It doesn't. Does it even have to be part-time, like 20 hours a week? No, it can be a lot less than that. There's plenty of people that have done that and started very small. When I started my business with a friend, we did shows around Austin, Texas. We bought lamps and home accessories from Market in Dallas. We did that one time, went to Market, got the inventory, and rented out the lobbies of hotel rooms. And we did it at my house and my friend's house. And we would hold shows there, and the people, all our friends would come and buy. Okay. So that's all the money that it took. That's all the money that it took to get going. Now, we did have to file our DBA, so maybe that was $35, but we didn't have a website. I didn't have a formal email platform at the time, and I had a full-time job, and I had a baby, and I was married. Okay? I was super busy. We did it. We'd hold it like one night after work on a weeknight, or we'd maybe do it on like a Sunday afternoon. That was our business. That's how it grew. And eventually, a few years later, I can't remember exactly when it was, I moved cities and then decided to take the business online. And that's when I got the website, and I had the funds to do that. So realize that this is a work in progress. So everybody stop freaking out that you have to be all in or not in terms of your time. You can be all in mentally and you can be committed, okay? And when you really are ready to be all in, you can do that. But don't give the excuse that you can't start a business with a little bit of time, because that's not a fact. That is not a fact. Everybody starts with a little bit of time and then they build up, okay? You're scared that you don't have what it takes. You don't know what you're doing, and that it's a fact that you won't have a successful business because you don't know what you're doing. That is ridiculous. I don't even hardly want to counter that because you're learning right now. You wouldn't be here if you didn't want to learn. You're starting, you can pool your resources. You can talk to people. You can listen to podcasts, listen to audiobooks, get in Facebook groups, everything. You can find out so much information online. You can watch YouTube. So don't tell me that you don't have what it takes, because you do. You can learn and do it. It's a learned skill. I've talked about on the previous episode. This is a skill building process. You just got to build your skills. It's not that you don't have what it takes. It's that you're not skilled yet. You have to get the skills. And if you want to speed that up, that's why you hire coaches like me and you get in programs like Grow Getters and another new program that I'm about to launch very soon, which I'm very excited about. But that's my point, is that you can speed up that process if you want to give a little bit of money and save a whole bunch of time. Right? So don't give that excuse. Here's my point. I'm going through all of these. I could bust all these myths all day long because they are not facts. They are not facts. You can start a business with a little bit of time or a little bit or no money, and you do have what it takes because you believe in what you want to offer. I truly believe that anyone listening here has something or has a few things in mind that they're like, I'm so passionate about this. I love it. And I want to do this all the time. If you have that and you are committed to doing this, you can make it work. So stop limiting yourself and arguing and telling everyone and telling yourself why you can't do this and why you can't be successful, because it's so not true. You're making limitations, facts, and proof that you can't be successful. Okay? I want to leave you with 3 points on how to handle this. Okay. So all of you are putting limitations in front of yourself and in your real life too, by the way. Let's think about it. Me being scared of traveling or getting hurt or whatever has probably prevented us from doing a lot more travel, because I do kind of get scared about things, right? It's just what we do. You know, my husband and my son will always pull out stats and go, oh, well, it's less dangerous to do this. And it's, you know, you're actually way less likely to have this happen to you and that. And it's true. I've made some kind of fact in my head that if I'm being a thrill seeker and I'm doing these things, that for sure means that I'm being dangerous and that I'm putting myself at risk. And it doesn't always mean that, but I do that in my head. I don't know if any of y'all can relate to that, but I do that, right? We put limitations, and you know what? It is hampering our growth, right? It's hampering our growth. It's stopping us from living the fullest life that we can. So here's the 3 things. I mentioned these a second ago. I keep digressing tonight. I don't know why I'm doing that, but I want to leave you with this today. When you are thinking about your business and you're working on something, and all of a sudden you hear yourself or you see yourself pausing or stalling because you're like, can't do this, or I'm not smart enough, or it's not the right time, or I don't have enough money, or whatever. These are the 3 things I want you to do. Okay. Number 1, recognize that that's your brain protecting you, but it's not a fact. Most of the time, this is not a fact. This is just some limitation you've made up in your head, some kind of story that's the reason why you can't do it. And you're defending that limitation. So recognize it and say, oh, that's what this is. This is my brain protecting me, and that's okay. But number 2, you're going to get creative on what the other side of this is. Like, what if? Like, how could I overcome this? Because I know that other people with even more limitations, in quotes, have been super successful. I mean, we can name off a bazillion people that are super successful with major limitations. Oprah Winfrey, Tony Robbins, I could go on and on. Y'all, they had so many things stacked against them, but they're successful anyway. So don't make it a hard and fast defense of why you can't be successful or why you can't achieve something. Okay, get creative. Think about, what did other people do? You could talk to people. You could look it up online. You could start asking questions in our Facebook group. You can, tag me in the Facebook group if you have a question about something anytime. I would love to try to help you, right? You have resources. You have resources to get creative. You can look on Google and see what other people have done. For example, if you're starting a certain type of business and you hardly have any money, that's your limitation where you've thought, oh, I can't really be successful, so I can't do this because I don't have enough money. Well, why don't you start looking up businesses that started with no money and how they became successful? Have y'all heard, by the way, of those people? This isn't a business related, but that like trade up stuff. Somebody started with like a penny and they went and traded it for like a paper clip with somebody. And then they traded the paper clip into something else. And they keep trading stuff and got all the way up to a house. Have y'all heard about this? I'll have to look it up again, but I thought it was super interesting. That person did not think for a minute that they weren't able to get something amazing out of this. They said, I'm starting with a penny and I'm going to turn it into something great. They got creative. They used their resources. That's what you have to do too. And that's what business owners have to do a lot of the time, because you have to constantly pivot. You have to constantly adjust. Get used to it. This is part of it. So let me repeat these again. The first one is recognize when it happens, like stop yourself. When you feel that limiting talk and limiting thoughts in your head come up, recognize that that's what it is, that it's a defense mechanism and it's okay, but recognize it's there. Sit with it. Create the space for it. The second thing you're going to do is get creative. See what you can do to overcome what you think is a limitation. How could you do it? Because you know that people with even more limitations than you and that same limitation that you had became successful. They became successful anyways, okay? And the third thing that you need to do is to realize that by recognizing it and getting creative and working around it, that you get to rewrite your story. You get to change your legacy. You get to do something amazing. Get to change your story. How amazing is that? Because you've probably already written the story in your head. Well, I'm going to try this and it's probably not going to work, or I don't really know what I'm doing. I just don't have enough money to be successful. Blah, 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 right? But what if you recognized it and you got creative? What could happen? What are the possibilities before you? Think what a legacy you could leave for the people around you to go, she did it. She went for her dreams. She built it out of nothing. She didn't have time. She made it work. She only had an hour a week to work on it, but she did it. I mean, you have to get smart if you really want to do this. If you don't really want to do this, then don't force yourself to do this. But for those of you that are here like me, that like, no, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to do this because I feel called to do this. I know it's my God-given gift and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to keep working on it and keep adjusting it and keep experimenting, and I'm going to make it happen. even if it takes longer than I would like it to take, because I have these things going on in my life, because it's going to take longer, it's okay. And I'm okay with that. But I'm going to rewrite my story. And I'm going to prove to myself and those around me that you can live your dream, that you can pursue your dream. You can do hard things. You can make things happen. Okay? And that you don't have to wallow in your limitations, because I can tell you right now, there's somebody you know out there that is wallowing in their limitations, and you're sad for them. Are you not sad for them? I mean, I can think of some people right now. It literally breaks my heart. They have so much potential. They could do so much more with their life, but all they do is wallow in their limitations. So you think about it. You don't want to be that person. You want to be the person that says limitations, whatever. I'm going to work around it. I'm going to get super creative. I'm going to make that happen. Okay? Does that make sense? So again, one more time, what are you going to do? When you feel the limitation come on, that negative self-talk, you're going to recognize it, number one. Number two, you're going to get creative, pull your resources and work around it. And number three, you're going to relish in the fact that you are rewriting your story. So that is it. Y'all are awesome. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm so glad all of you are here. Make sure you get in the Facebook group. Get plugged in, because this is such an amazing journey. You don't want to go about it alone. And keep in mind, Grow Getters doors are opening here, maybe right when this episode is airing. I'm trying to think exactly when this is going to air, but it may be right now. So for all of you that are just about to open your business, or you just launched and you're like, okay, now what do I do? How do I start building an audience of people who actually want to buy my stuff? If this is you, make sure you check out Grow Getters right now, because I'm going to help you do that. You'll never have to ask that question again. You'll never have to ask, how am I going to grow my business? Because you're going to have a plan. So that is it. Y'all have a great day. Until next time, bye now.
Now, this episode may be over, but our relationship does not have to end here. Head on over to KimberlyBrock.com. And yes, you can get more valuable information for your journey. And you know what? You don't need to go through this alone. I would love to help you. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.